Crystal with Island Yoga here on the south end of Hilton Head Island, and today we're going to do a half-hour practice. So if I look at my watch, it's just to honor the time that we have. All right, so we're going to come to a comfortable seat. Your legs can be out straight or you can cross them. If you have blocks or books or something else to support the knees, that can work as well. All right, let's sit nice and tall. Shoulders come forward, up by the ears, back and down. We'll close the eyes and start to breathe from the back of the throat in through the nose and out through the nose. Keeping the mouth spacious and the jaw relaxed. You can use Oshani breath at the back of the throat if you do know Ujjayi breath, or whatever breathing serves you for today. Keeping the eyes closed, let's bring our hands to heart center, hands in prayer. And if you'd like, you can set an intention for your practice. Bowing your head to seal the intention. Flutter the eyes open. All right, let's use the hands to gather the knees. Swing your legs to one side. If you don't have a blanket, it's totally optional. I do like to have that extra cushion for the knees, so if you have a blanket or a towel, that works just as well. Shoulders above the wrists, hips are above the knees. Let's do 5 cycles in our cat-cow. Spreading the fingers nice and wide. Make sure the fingers face forward. Inhale, curl the toes. Rock tailbone up. Surrender the belly. Lift your gaze to the ceiling. Take your time here. Exhale, point the toes away, push the mat away, you come back. Inhale, forward. Exhale. Three more on your own. Come back to tabletop. Today we're going to take a nice version of child's pose. So if you want to take a wide-legged child's pose, you can do that. You can take support for the seat if you need it. You can also take child's pose on your back, in which you would recline on your back and you would just pull the knees closer to you. Otherwise, today we're going to switch it up a little differently than I normally. QU4, knees are together, feet are close together. You can have your third eye directly on the mat, or if you have something available to support the head, that works as well. Today I'm just going to allow the arms to come behind me, backs of the hands come to the mat or to the blanket, and just allow the back of the body to release. Whichever version of child's pose serves you best for today. We're just going to hold 10 breaths here. Steady, even breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. Good. Whichever version you took, we're going to walk ourselves back so the upper body's more upright. You can take the gaze forward or up for a breath or two. And then we'll take our props just off to the side. I do like to have my blocks highest level toward the head of the mat if you do have them. And no big big deal as far as props go, but I do prefer cork blocks just because they're a little bit more firm and I like the stability that they give me. All right, so we're gonna come into downward facing dog. If that's just not working because you have wrist, arm, shoulder stuff, you can always skip it. You can stay on your knees instead. Otherwise, we're gonna take our hands further toward the head of the mat, spread the fingers nice and wide, curl the toes under, your sitting bones come up and back. Make your way to downward facing dog. Does not have to be perfect. Just bend the knees, maybe move the feet, shake the head out. We'll find stillness in your dog when you're ready. We won't stay here for long. Let's look between the hands for a forward fold. So if forward folds are difficult, as they often can be, you can take more than one step. You can also drop one knee down to the mat and then take 1 foot forward, even if you need to help that foot forward along by using your hand. So your transitions don't have to look like mine. Just keep in mind as well, you don't have to take every single posture. So I'm gonna step 1 foot forward and the other foot forward, but if this takes more than 1 step to come toward the top of the mat, or you need to, once again, drop 1 knee down and then slide 1 foot in front of the other, or use your hand rather to slide your foot closer to the other. You can always do that. From here, we'll keep a good bend in the knees and just allow the head to hang. If it's a really far reach, just check in with yourself. Sometimes we have this idea that we should open up the hamstrings through force. Definitely don't do that. Give yourself as much of a bend in the knees as you need. Be nice to yourself. It's also part of the practice. And maybe you need to use blocks to bring the floor up to you if it's still a little bit far of a reach. We're just gonna let the head hang. And if it feels good, you can always just kind of dangle for a few breaths here, holding opposite elbows. Make sure, if you've taken my live classes before, you pull the belly in anytime you lean forward. That's true even outside of yoga class. It's important to protect your back. And just remember, I'm going to say this often as you take my classes, we want to luxuriate in the stretch. If that's not happening, you pushed a little too far. All right, we're going to release this. Push through the feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and over your head. Maybe palms press, gaze lifts. And exhale, release, arms down by your side. All right, so I'm going to be moving and I'm trying to look at the camera just to make sure that you can see me most effectively. But we're gonna come about 1/3 of the way down the mat or so. Let's do 3 half sun A's just to get the energy flowing a little bit. So if you can, the big toes are together, the heels are together. First time I like to shift the body weight forward and back. Just notice how you're distributing the body weight all over your feet so you feel grounded. We're gonna lengthen the tail, shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Inhale, sweep the arms up over your head, maybe palms press, gaze lifts. We're pushing through the feet all the way up energetically. And then exhale, swan dive forward, bend your knees, belly tight, fingertips come to the mat or to blocks. Inhale, half lift, long spine. Exhale, bend your knees forward, fold. Push through your feet, inhale, sweep the arms up and over, maybe palms press, gaze lifts. Exhale, release, arms by your side. 2 more, inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Push through your feet, inhale, sweep the arms up and over. Exhale, release, arms by your side. 1 more, inhale up. Exhale, forward fold, bend your knees, belly tight. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Push through your feet, inhale, sweep the arms up and over. Exhale, release, arms by your side. Let's do a lateral stretch. So take the stance that serves you for today. I like to have a small stance in between the feet so the big toes are together and the heels are together. If you need a wider stance, take it. We're gonna firm everything below the waist. Inhale, arms come up over your head. We'll take your left hand to the right wrist. Inhale, lift. Rib cage comes off the waist. Pull the belly in. Keep everything contracted below the waist and then exhale over to the left. Chin is away from your chest. Long upper body, straight neck. Think about creating space all along the right side body. So if you notice that the chin comes down, see if you can start to come up, even if that means you're here and not here. It doesn't matter how far you come to the side.
We want to maintain the integrity of good form. And remember, this is a breathing exercise. Come back to center. Right hand to left, wrist, inhale, lift. Firm everything below the waist. Pull the belly in and then exhale over to the right. Same thing, chin is away from your chest. Maybe both sides are different. Just notice. Maybe the chin comes down and then you start to cultivate some self-awareness and feel that space, even if it means coming out of the shape a little bit. That's okay. Come back to center. Let's release the hands to the hips. Heel toe the feet about 2 fist distance apart. Does not have to be exact. Invite a generous bend in the knees. We're gonna fold at the hip crease. So an invisible yardstick right here. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, you come forward. If it's available, you'll take an interlace finger grip. Send the knuckles up and over your head. Don't forget to bend the knees. Don't forget to engage the belly here. So if that's not working and you have a strap, you can definitely use the strap. We're just gonna hold for about 5 breaths or so. If you needed to use a strap, you would grab the strap on either side, maybe working the hands closer together, and then over time you take an interlace finger grip, or you can just come up and over with the knuckles that way. So I turned just so you could see how I was using the strap. Otherwise, we would interlace the fingers, knuckles come up and over the head. Try not to resist gravity. Sometimes we're unconsciously clenching in the shoulders. Just see if you can release. If you notice that your palms are further apart, maybe over time, squeezing them closer together. Doesn't matter if that ever happens. Does not matter how close your knuckles get to the ground. You're still getting the benefit of opening up into the shoulders very much. And as always, if this is too much, you can release early. And sometimes when we forward fold, I kind of shift the body weight forward and back very subtly, just to notice how I'm distributing the body weight in the feet. Super important as you move in your practice. All right, let's release and interlace finger grip. Heel toe the feet closer together. Let's root to rise again, which means we'll push through the feet to inhale. Sweep the arms up and over. This time we'll exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, right foot back, left foot back, high plank. Shoulders are above the wrists. We're actively pushing the mat away from you. So if this is too much or you're working through an injury, drop down to your knees instead, or you can skip it otherwise. High plank, shoulders above the wrists, hips above the knees. We want to make sure that the body weight is forward, the tail is under, and you're pulling your abdominals in. Breathing like it's easy. Good. Let's exhale right into downward facing dog. So notice as you transition between high plank and downward facing dog, you won't have to change the hands or feet very much or at all. Look between your hands. Today we're going to send the left foot forward, drop the right knee down. For this, I will take cushion for the back knee right here. Let's open up into the hamstring. So for me, I'm going to point the back toes away. Yogi's choice, you can decide to keep them curled under. Today, I'm going to point the toes away. Let's frame the foot on either side with a block, and then we'll slide that front heel more forward. So if you notice you're twisting the hips, maybe you decide to square yourself off a little more evenly. And you can stay here. You can also decide to flex the toes back towards your face a little bit more. You can change the level of your blocks, or you can skip the blocks. Today, I do need to use the blocks, so I will use them. If your leg is not totally straight, that's okay. Maybe over time, and as we hold, we're gonna hold about 10 breaths per side. You decide to slide the front heel more forward. Today I'm going to inhale, lift, and then exhale, head beyond the toes. And again, maybe as you hold, you modify the placement or the level of the blocks if you are using them. And if you want to come into a fuller expression of a split, you can maybe start to take that back knee further back. Today, this feels like a perfectly sufficient stretch for me, so I'm going to stay right here. Breathing with ease. put some weight into the hands just to stabilize myself. Slide the front heel further back. However you transition is perfect. I like to heel toe the foot more to the left and send the left foot back. From here, you can transition right into the next one, or you can give yourself a few hip circles one direction and the other. You can also come into a downward facing dog type motion and just release that if it feels nice. All right, we're gonna come back to the knees when you're ready, and I'm going to take my blocks in front of me for stability. This time it's gonna be your right foot forward, left knee back. I like to point the back toes away, so if you notice that you're tensing in the back foot, maybe pointing the back toes away will feel a little bit better for you, or not. We're gonna slide the front heel further forward, same thing, both sides might be different. Inhale, lift, exhale, head beyond the toes. I'm gonna stay right here. If you wanna come into a different version on this side, you can. If you notice you're really twisting the hips, you might want to pull the right hip a little back so your hips are a little more even. So that's not the most important thing. We're just focusing on the stretch in the back of the leg. You may feel it other places as well, but we're going for a right hamstring stretch here for most of us. Sitting in stillness. Good. Gonna put some weight into the hands for stability. Slide the front heel closer to me. Maybe heel toe the foot more to the right and send the right foot back. Doing what feels good here. I am going to take my props just off to the side, including the blanket. Coming into a downward facing dog for me. Does not have to be perfect, just letting that stretch release. Before we come into our next one, we're gonna come into full saddle pose. So for some of us, especially if you have knee stuff, you will need to take support for under the seat. So 1 or 2 blocks, or if you have a pillow or a bolster. That elevation helps a lot. So knees together, feet apart. We want the feet outside the hips. If this is still entirely too much, you can decide to take this one leg at a time, maybe heart to the sky, give yourself a back bend. If you're doing that and you're doing a home practice right now, you can decide to hold for 10 breaths per side. Otherwise, I'm going to hold 20 full breaths here. So because my knees feel okay and my ankles feel okay, often we have opening in the ankles for some of us as well. You can decide to come up higher, shift your props, or if you're feeling a little more open today, maybe you don't need your blocks. So I'm just gonna show you what this looks like from the side. The feet are outside the hips. So once again, if you were to take this halfway instead of full saddle, going half, it would go this way. One leg extends out straight, the other foot outside the hip. So I'm going to cue you for sides and I'm mirroring you. So the side that I'm cueing you for is actually not the same side, but for the sake of using the camera, I am mirroring you today, but try not to get fixated on sides. If you do one side instead of the one I cue you for, just take the opposite side next time, no big deal. All right, for me it's going to be knees together, feet apart. You can decide from here, and again, I'm going to cue you from this side just so you can kind of see it a little bit better. Maybe heart to the sky, hands on blocks, or you can decide to come all the way onto your elbows, or you can come all the way onto your back. Only if that serves you. If this is painful, definitely do not take that version. For me, I feel some opening in the quads, also in the tops of the feet. So if you find that you need to shift your props and come to a softer surface, or give yourself a blanket or towel for under the feet, that can really help make this posture a little bit more sustainable for you. All right, today I'm going to grab opposite elbows, and maybe over time, I work the shoulders closer, or further down rather. You can look down the center line, You can close the eyes. Let's hold 20 breaths here, or 10 breaths per side, and you can go at your own pace, whatever feels right for you. Maybe the timing of your breath is a little bit different than mine. Remembering you can always release before I cue you for it. Check in with your breath. If it becomes difficult to breathe, just come out of it. Sometimes the best version of a shape is just not to take it. Last few breaths here. Good. If you came into a deeper version of a back bend, we'll exit the same way we went in. So for me, coming onto elbows and hands. And then from here, taking what you need. So if you had a block under the seat, you could remove it. I'm going to turn to face you again. I am going to bend the knees and pedal the feet once again. All right, we're gonna come into a side body stretch next. So I am going to use my blanket to support the seat. Again, completely optional. I just like the extra cushion that it provides. All right, so if you have a block handy, this will really help. You can certainly decide to come out this way or give yourself support for the feet. If your feet are coming onto a hard surface and off the mat, it's sometimes nice to have some cushion under the feet for this one. For me, this feels okay. So I'm going to go wide to straddle the legs this way. So if your stance is not as wide, that's okay. Maybe that's where you are for today. All right, so I'm going to take a block to the inside of the right thigh. If this is not serving you today, I'm going to cue you to take this instead. Inhale, lift, and then exhale, you come forward. All right, so for this, I am gonna hold us 20 breaths per side. So if that's an exceedingly long time to hold this wide straddle and then come further forward, you can always exit before I cue you for it. Otherwise, I'm going to take a block. You can certainly start highest level to the inside of the right thigh. I'm going to support my head and then reach my left arm up and over. So I'm not holding the arm up. It's draped over my head, least effort, to create some space in the left side body. So if this is really intense for you, you can always stack your props to make this a little more accessible to you. You can always just skip the reach up and over the head and just stay here instead, or maybe you decide that you want to come out here instead, maybe resting the head wherever it feels comfortable. If that's too much on the neck, you can give yourself breaks or come out early. Otherwise, we're gonna take the block inside the thigh, rest your head in one of the hands and reach left fingertips in your right hand, and then reach your left fingertips up and over to give yourself a nice side body stretch. So I choose to relax the feet here. If it's a little too much to have your legs straight, do take support underneath the legs. Sometimes it's nice to have maybe something small, little pillows or a blanket or rolled up towels or something else to support the knees. So if this is just already too much with straight legs and your knees are way up here, that's okay. Give yourself as much support as you need or release before I cue you for it. All right, left fingertips reach up and over. I'm going to stay here and honor the stillness and silence as best as possible. I'll cue you when we come to the last few breaths, but again, we're gonna hold about 20 breaths per side. Relax everything you don't need to use. Good. We're about to release. Give yourself another breath or two. And then when you're ready, we'll reach left fingertips up and over, floating them to the side so the upper body's more upright. Nice. All right, so we're going to take opposite side. So if this is too much, remember we're gauging where we are for today. Both sides might be super different. If you're working through an injury or there's major tightness, you can come out early. All right, otherwise block to the inside of the left thigh. Resting head on the left hand, reaching right fingertips up and over. Again, we're not holding the arm up. We're allowing the arm to drape, or you can be here instead, or you can be here instead. All right, let's hold 20 breaths or so. Your best version, where you can breathe in stillness. Normal to get a little distracted as we hold these longer postures. See if you can gently redirect your thinking back to conscious breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. Doing what feels right with your gaze. I choose to close the eyes pretty often to take the journey inward. Last few breaths here. Good. I'm going to flutter the eyes open and float right fingertips up and over to bring the upper body more upright. Yes. All right, we're gonna come into a forward fold next. So if you already took a forward fold, you can decide to skip this. Maybe you decide that you want to mix it up and come into butterfly pose or Baddha Konasana, bottoms of the feet together. You can walk yourself more forward this way. Support for the knees if you want it on either side. Maybe you come forward this way, you can interlace the fingers and seal the toes that way, or you can decide to use your elbows to widen the knees a little bit more if that feels good. All right, otherwise I'm gonna come into this version of a forward fold, and I do like to take support for the head for this one.
totally optional. All right, I'm gonna fashion a space in the shape of a T. I'm not gonna flex the toes back. Inhale, lift, and then exhale, come forward. So again, just a little opening in the hamstrings once again, holding about 10 breaths or so with legs extended, or you can come into that butterfly stance instead. I choose to have the palms to face up and just relax the shoulders. Last few breaths. Good. The palms are facing up, flip them to face down, and we'll walk or slide the hands back. You can take the gaze forward or up for a breath or two. All right, we're gonna come onto our backs for a twist, and I am going to take it from the side. Let's take it from the side so you can see me just a little bit better. All right, so you can stay facing this direction. I am going to turn the opposite way and grab a strap if you have it available. So the strap is totally optional. If you've taken my classes before or any yoga class before and you know how to use your strap, I'm gonna go ahead and create a small loop on the strap because I'm going to keep with the theme for opening the hamstrings today. All right, so make your way onto your back as you are ready. We're going to extend one leg up. So I'm going to place the strap on the foot. All right, we're going to take, and for me, this is my left side, so I'm going to take right hand to left knee. Knee goes right, arm goes left. Maybe this is where you stay, or maybe you decide to extend that top leg out. If that's too much, don't take it. If you need support for that leg, for me, I'm just going to allow the leg to float above the mat. If it doesn't quite make it, you can always use your block instead. All right, for this, I'm going to extend my left arm out and maybe shift my gaze beyond the left fingertips or gaze up or close the eyes. Let's do 10 breaths per side here, real nice and easy. And if it's not nice to have the strap, skip it and make sure we're not gripping the strap too tightly. We don't want to create tension in the hands. I'll flutter the eyes open, bend the top leg back in, pull the low belly in, and very carefully come onto your back before we switch it up. All right, so this time we're going to extend the left leg long, place the strap on the right foot, only if that feels good. We're going to take your knee to the left, arm to the right, or whichever side you're working on for today. For me, I'm going to extend the right arm out. Try your best to keep both shoulders attached to the mat if you can. You can stay here. You can support your leg, or you can extend the top leg out this way. I'm just going to allow that leg to come out straight. Try not to overgrip the strap. Do what feels right with your gaze. No pain or strain in the head or the neck.
bend the top leg back in, pull the belly in, make your way onto your back. And from here, I'm going to unloop the strap before I take it off to the side. All right, you can always come into a fetal position and then roll onto one side, pushing your way back up to seated. Otherwise today, and especially if you're not working through injury, I sometimes rock up to seated this way. Extending both legs up, palms face down, using the weight of the legs to come back up to seated. You might still be facing that direction. I just cued you that way so that you can see me a little bit better. Legs could be extended or they can be crossed. Support for the knees or not. Shoulders come forward, up, back, and down once again. Let's do some neck rolls. Just allow the shoulders to relax. Chin comes down to your chest. Head hangs back if that feels okay. Chin comes parallel to the floor. Take your right fingertips to the right. Use your left hand to pull right ear away from right shoulder. Keeping chin parallel to the floor, doing what feels nice. Left hand places head back to center. Let's take left fingertips to the left. Lightly pull left ear away from left shoulder. Right hand places head back to center. Let's reach your right arm across the body. Use your opposite hand to pull the arm closer to you. Maybe the right shoulder comes back and down a little bit. Good. Reach your left arm across the body. Opposite hand pulls the arm closer to you. Maybe left shoulder comes back and down a little bit. Good. Let's take our left fingertips to the left to reach right fingertips up and over your head. If you need to bring your hand onto a prop, you can do that. Float your hand to the side. This time right fingertips touch the mat, the ground or a prop. Reach your left fingertips up and over your head. Come back to center, reach up, up, up. Nice long spine. Take right hand to left knee. Opposite hand behind you. Real easy twist. Maybe initiating a motion where it's as if you were looking over the left shoulder, or chin can come down toward the left armpit. Sometimes that's a nice little stretch for the neck and the shoulder. Inhale, reach back up, long spine. Left hand to right knee, opposite hand behind you, look over the right shoulder, almost as if you were trying to look over the shoulder, or chin can come down to the right armpit. Come back to center. Shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Once again, forward, up, back, and down. Then we'll go forward and back, forward and back.
All right, let's sit nice and tall. We'll finish with 5 cycles of breath. Today I'm going to cue you to inhale through the nose and exhale, sigh it out the mouth, keeping a relaxed face and jaw. Palms can face up or down. If this is too much to have the legs crossed, go ahead and take them out straight. Here we go. We're going to inhale through the nose, sigh it out the mouth. 4 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Keeping the mouth closed, let's bring our hands to the heart, hands in prayer. Take a moment to remember the intention you set at the start of class, if you did set one. Thank yourself for taking good care of yourself. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. May the rest of your day be the best of your day. Namaste. Thank you so much. If you loved this video, please like me on Facebook. You can also subscribe to the newsletter for Island Yoga to find out about studio reopening, hopefully within the coming weeks. If not, we'll keep these virtual classes going on a daily basis. Go to hhislandyoga.com to subscribe to the newsletter. You can also send me an email, and I'm happy to add you to the list myself, hhislandyoga@gmail.com, or you can text me. Text is the easiest way to reach me, 803-420-2829.